StuDichotomy,
a class of kids,
crucial, thought-provoking questions,
and occasionally something serious mixed in,
featuring the kids of Shref Tech
and Brad Schreffler.
Welcome to the StuDichotomy podcast. This is episode 11. Today we're here with fourth period. We're here with Colton, Ryan, Mr. Schreffler, Jaron, Alex, Gavin, and me, Bobby. Today we're talking about the importance of school breaks and also some other stuff Mr. Schreffler's going to throw at us later.
We just got back from spring break. We had a couple weeks off on the show, and we're back now. Did everybody have a good break?
Yeah.
I had an amazing break.
I had a great 2-week break because I was sick the last week.
Yeah.
I worked.
So my curiosity here for this topic is more about, do you find the breaks important to your schooling? Like, are they something really necessary? You know, you mentioned, Bobby, right before we started that Colorado is going to a 4-day school week, right? Like they're doing longer school days, but 4 days a week. And there's been different variations of schedules where you talk about getting less breaks and things like that. And I'm wondering if you feel like those breaks are valuable, or would you rather have a 3-month summer and sort of do school nonstop, except for holidays, like the days of the holidays only?
My opinion about it is I think breaks are really important. I mean, like, there's some breaks that we could probably slim out. Like, the importance of a whole week for Thanksgiving is almost unnecessary. Like, there's no real reason you need to be with your, like out of town 5 days or, like, 4 days before Thanksgiving. Like, it's kind of like, I think, like, families could do with being together for 3 or 4 days to celebrate one day together rather than 5 or 6 days to celebrate one day together. It kind of doesn't make a lot of sense to me for that. And I could get if they slimmed out Thanksgiving break. That's not really a problem anywhere else out of the U.S. But for example, like, there's like other like random stuff that we have off, like a lot of those teacher work days, or like the importance of needing like the entire week of New Year's off and stuff like that. I'm not saying we should get rid of it, but I'm saying the breaks that we have, I think, are necessary, because especially things like winter break, where we have the 2 weeks for Christmas and New Year's, and spring break, I think are really important. I think those are important more not because of the holidays that are involved in winter break, but because of the fact that, after winter break, you're going into the second half of the year, and it's good for students to have like that breather before they go into the second half of the year. And some people can argue that, they're just going to forget all the stuff they learned. I honestly think that break is really necessary for like a student's brain to just like take a breather, relax, have fun for a little bit, and then come back to school and like finish their studies. And it's the same thing with spring break. I think spring break is really necessary because it gives students a breather, because third quarter is normally the hardest quarter. It's normally like the work quarter, not the testing quarter. You do a lot of homework, classwork, you learn the most of your material in third quarter. And I think it's really important that students have like a little bit of a pause after that before they have to start studying for all of their exams. So then I think if you had like a 3-month or 4-month summer vacation and slimmed out all the breaks, I think that would be worse, because it would separate the middle ground of students. It would increase the success rate of hardworking students, and it would decrease the success rate of students who don't work as hard, I think.
Do you guys feel like you come back from a break more rested, like ready to learn?
Nope, not at all.
No.
Definitely rested, maybe not more with a more drive.
Yeah. I don't think you come back ready to learn, but I definitely think you come back feeling like, of course, like the first few days you're gonna be like, man, I miss spring break, because you're gonna miss relaxing and not doing a lot of stuff for a whole week. But I think also at the same time, you'd rather have that than go to school for that entire week. You know what I mean?
Gavin, you're quiet over there. I'm gonna go to you.
I'm a quiet person.
No, you're not. That's not even a remotely true statement.
Okay. Well, I feel like it is. I think just having a big, 9-month period that school is, where most of the time you go, and at most you can get 2 days off for a weekend, where you can start to let your brain have that kind of a breather, but then you're just right back into more school, and then teachers typically have assignments that carry over weekends. I think it's so much that continues to pile up, and if you really need to take a second, clear your head and stuff, you never really have that time other than breaks where you have a week at a time. And so I think those can be really good to just take a break from the constant go of school and assignment after assignment after test, and just kind of clear your head, get back into the mentality, and then go back in.
Jaron, what about you?
I am in favor of removing
summer break and instead having school go year-round with periodic longer breaks in between.
Is
It
this
actually doesn't
More
sound like...
small breaks instead of one huge
is this
break.
you're for serious?
I'm serious.
You know,
Like, this is
cousin
my personal preference.
My cousin in North Carolina, she did that. It was, you have 9 months on, and then 9 months, no, not 9 months, but 9 weeks on, 9 weeks off, 9 weeks on, 9 weeks off. And then you'd have the breaks for certain holidays. And
It's a lot.
they would schedule the,
Going on.
It was 9-9, or was it like 9-4?
it might have been like 9-4.
Because I feel
Yeah,
when I
because
was
9-9 wouldn't work
Yeah,
out very
yeah.
A
well.
whole month off.
I know when I went to 5th grade, and my school that I went to in 5th grade had year-round scheduling. Here, the way I joined in, I just ended up on the track that was the same. Like, they would alternate the track. So the school was having school year-round, but each teacher was on a different track of breaks. And so you would have 4 classes, say you had 4 5th grade classes, 3 would be in school at any given time, and which one was off would rotate like every 4 weeks or something like that.
And also they
Which was
would,
kind of cool. I liked it. I thought it was neat.
they would have longer break for summer, I think like 6 weeks or maybe 8. But they would like schedule the breaks according to like winter break and spring break, and it would fit in with most other schools' breaks, but they would have school year-round.
See, I've thought about that kind of stuff a lot because I always thought it was interesting that there was such like a drastically different scheduling. When you have like a year-round scheduling like that, where it's a lot like longer and it's a lot more consistent. You have a year without like that big summer break in between. I feel like it makes a lot more sense in the scope of like if you were just doing 1 year, but over the course of like 4 solid back-to-back years of like a year-round schooling schedule for all 4 years of high school, I feel like it would maybe build up and be a little too much with that much like year-round coursework and everything without a big 3-month break.
It's interesting because like the distinctions we draw between grade levels and even subject areas for that matter don't exist in the real world. So it's weird that we train you so much to have these year-long breaks. And as a teacher, my fellow adults who are like, oh, teaching, how do must be hard having your summers off. And it's like, yeah, must be hard also not being able to go to the bathroom whenever you want. Like, I mean, it's like, they don't understand the rigor of this job. And the same thing is true for you guys, really. I mean, yes, you can, go to the bathroom in the middle of class if you raise your hand in most cases. But at the same time, like, this isn't real, right? This isn't a model that is like the real world. And so I think the breaks have value because it is important to sort of get away. I know with my own son, even in kindergarten, I feel like he needs those breaks. But then there's also the transition time when you come back because you take a week off and you forget the rules, you forget the requirements, things just start getting, they're not always there. So you kind of got to start over sometimes. So,
But you can adapt to those types of things.
The thing is, like, with jobs in the real world, it's not, I mean, depending on the job, usually it's just not as constant as school is. Like, you're not constantly having to do things and then go home and do more things. It's just a lot of, it's not that much, so you don't need the breaks as much. Like, in some jobs, yeah, that would make sense, but...
Like
I mean,
working full-time.
Yeah.
But even working full-time, in most jobs in the real world, the not as constant thing is valid.
Yeah.
Because here, every teacher you see, say you see 7 teachers a day, they are intentionally trying to fill 50 minutes, right? Whereas at your job, you have duties and responsibilities that may or may not take every second of your day that you have to work
But you have
on.
to stay there anyway, which is
Are
a
you
completely
doing
different...
duties? Well done. Well done.
But yeah, you have to stay there anyway, which is a completely different subject. But still, like, with my job, like, I have so much downtime, I don't know what to do with myself, so...
Okay. Any other thoughts on breaks before we go to our second surprise half?
Say, if you were talking about how comparing school to like the real world, do you think that students should go full time but have their own vacation days set aside that they have to approve with like a administrator, and then they can just take the days off when they need to?
That would be interesting.
I think that would
It would be
only work,
interesting,
yeah.
but people would all try to take off important days,
Yeah, that's true.
but maybe they can make it to where those, like, testing days can't be taken off. Or
Yeah, so I feel like then it
You'd also have to schedule with your teacher. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right. You're scheduling with all your teachers. But I also think there is value in your case of your social group all having the same time off, right?
Yeah.
Like you guys all had the last week off,
Yeah.
so you can hang out together with each other. So I think that probably is part of the value there is that kid side of it. Even though you guys are all mostly getting ready to graduate, except for Gavin, it still is. There still should be some fun in there. There should be some value in that fun. I feel like.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun, It's a transition. Check that out.
Wow.
Speaking of fun,
Pointed out his transition.
it's good. It makes them better. When you point them out, it's like jokes. When you explain them, they're better that way.
Not that. You're stupid. Hello.
A guy of mine, a guy I know from the internet, Taylor Molly, he's a poet. He wrote a poem that I think I made you guys, a spoken word poem I think I made you guys listen to, the What Teachers Make, the spoken word poem, which I love. He currently just launched a Kickstarter for a product he's calling Metaphor Dice. Because one of the problems English teachers have is teaching people how to make metaphors and write metaphors as students. And he has this really cool product, Metaphor Dice, which he sent me a set of before I interviewed him for the Planning Period podcast. And since his Kickstarter just launched, I thought it would be kind of cool for us to play with the Metaphor Dice real quick. So basically the way it works, your red dice are an abstract object. For example, memory is love, home, happiness. The white are the adjectives. They're the adjectives that sort of add things. So sacred, sinful, wordless. And then your blue are your basic nouns, your more basic nouns. Shrine, prayer, harvest, curse.
Kiss.
Superhero. Kiss is on there. Thank you, Colton, for being a child. I appreciate that. So the way this works, you roll the dice, you pick a red dice, a white dice, and a blue dice, and you combine them together to make a metaphor, and then you write a quick poem with a transition of, the transition goes, which is to say, and you re-describe that metaphor in your own words. So I'm going to roll the dice, and we're each going to take a chance to write a quick poem or a quick description of our metaphor using just a simple note card, these dice, and whatever. So I'm going to give them a roll here.
Are we going to have to read these out?
Yeah, I'm going to read them out. Let's see.
Just make sure Cole doesn't get kissed.
Kiss my father.
That's not it. That's not how that works. That's not the way
That's what it says.
works. So you're going to have a choice. For your abstract, you can either use my father or the mind. For your adjective, you can either use broken or spellbound. And for your noun, you can use superhero or kiss. So you could have my father is a broken superhero. You could have the mind is a broken kiss or whatever. You're going to use that metaphor and then add which is to say and then describe it in your own words. And we'll do some editing magic.
Wait, a
pause
full poem?
here. Yeah, you're going to write a quick poem. It doesn't have to be crazy long. It could be like 4 or 5 lines if you really wanted to. And you're done.
All right, we're back. We've written all our poems.
Well, not all of us, but some of us have written our poems, which is fine. This isn't an English class, so I'm not going to force everybody to write one. That's fine.
Yeah.
Look at Gavin and Jaron, who wrote one line, which is just the metaphor.
Gavin, quick improv.
He wrote in his mind. I want to hear his mind.
Yeah, let's hear Jaron's.
Okay. The mind is a spellbound kiss. Meaning... No?
Oh, wait, no, you said is? Oh, my bad.
Wow. The mind is a spellbound kiss. Meaning that...
Great. Moving on. All right. I'll go, since you guys are all ridiculous, and I'll just throw mine out there. The mind is a broken superhero, which is to say that its powers are limitless and inhuman, but our life experiences impede, like kryptonite to our potential.
English teacher used to
rhyme. Poems don't have to rhyme, people. Come on.
Mine rhymed.
It did rhyme horribly.
I want to hear Ryan.
All right, Ryan, what do you got?
My father was a broken kiss, lots of love, hit or miss, support and comfort all around. When he leaves, I will frown.
That was actually pretty good. Good job.
Yeah.
I like it. That was pretty good.
Mine reads more like the first paragraph of an essay, but I'll go for it. The mind is a broken superhero, which is to say that even though we all have the potential to be the best versions of ourselves, the potential to make differences in one another's lives, our own setbacks and desires inhibit our greatness. Our worst enemies are always ourselves.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty solid. Colton, close us out.
My mind is a spellbound superhero, which is to say that it is not bound by natural thought. It can move mountains and fly to extraordinary heights of imagination.
Oh, good job, guys. Look at that. See? The dice work. So, except for some of you. Like 50% success rate for the dice. That's what we'll go with.
That rounds up.
That's a great way to plug a product.
50% is more than 49%.
It got you all laughing. You had a good time. It's not a bad way, right? All right. Well, guys, thank you as always for the StuDichotomy podcast. Bobby, you want to close us out? Say goodbye?
Yeah, thanks for joining us on the StuDichotomy podcast, guys. This was episode 11. We talked about the